Hello and welcome to Elseworlds DC fan podcast. My name is Jordan. With me, as always, is Chris. RT Chris.
I'm doing pretty good. A little scrambled. Life is kind of crazy, but when isn't it? So
Right.
let's do this thing, right?
Right. Yeah. So, look, we were a little busy um, lately. Definitely, I have been. We would have loved to have talked um, the Kent casting news before this, but we're going to dive into it today, as well as just some
hmm
little catch up stuff we're recording this earlier than usual. Actually, we usually do Thursdays, but I have a pretty packed week. So getting it ahead of time here, so that way we don't have to wait even longer to talk about the Kents. And I think that's what we're going to start with today. Is look, this is something people have been clamoring for since they've started casting, but
hmm
specifically, I've saw this sentiment about when Gunn was casting like Mr. Terrific, Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, people being like, "Well, where's the Kents? The Kents are more important than these guys," you know.
Right,
And
right.
was trying to, I was trying to tell people be patient. I'm sure the Kents will be in this. Sure enough, we got. I think it was last. What day was this? Yeah. So it was like last Tuesday and last Wednesday that they one was, I think last Tuesday was Pa Kent and last Wednesday was Ma Kent, that they announced the casting for. I don't know how much we'll actually have to say about this because I'm not too familiar specifically with Ma Kent. So this is Neva Howell, um, and she. It doesn't really say. Okay, she is an actress based in Chattanooga. She was in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Long Haul, Logan Lucky, and My Fellow Americans. She's not like a huge name, but she looks like Martha Kent, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, she looks like Martha Kent. You're exactly right. I don't have anything else to say, to be honest with you, other than the reaction that some of it has drawn on Twitter is just gross. I really have had a problem with the way it's been handled by some sections of the fandom. But yeah, I haven't seen her in anything. She looks like Martha Kent, older woman. Cool.
Yeah, interesting, right? Because what we've seen with Spider-Man is that they've started off old and they keep making Aunt May uh, younger.
Yeah.
Um,
Now you got
they're
Marissa Tomei, which is like
right,
much different than like Tobey Maguire's Aunt May, which is
right,
like really next to Death's Door, and then you're like, hey, Marissa Tomei. You're like, what?
right. So
Happy liked it.
yeah, so this one they're kind of going. I mean,
More
she's
traditional.
more traditional, and they look like actual like regular people. They don't look like movie stars here. Like what Diane Keaton, right, was Martha in
Yeah.
BVS and the rest of those films. I don't even know how many times she's shown up in those. But then we got Pa
Probably
Kent
about four times.
as well, which is Pruitt Taylor Vince. I've seen his face before. I know this guy. I just can't tell you where I've seen him. Apparently he's been in like Stranger Things, Agents of Shield, The Walking Dead. I saw him in probably Stranger Things and Agents of Shield. I think the Walking Dead stuff was after I had stopped watching Walking Dead.
No, I love Stranger Things, but I knew I had the familiar face, but I couldn't place him. And I'm trying to
Yeah,
place him in Stranger Things now.
I'm gonna
So
go look up where he was in
because if it
Stranger.
was Stranger Things, it couldn't have been a major role.
No, I would think not. No, I would think he wasn't a huge role in
Because I do love that
Stranger
show.
Things. Um, 2 episodes as Ray in season 2, chapters 5 and 7. So I don't know who Ray is in those, but he was in season 2 of Stranger Things. He was in 4
Uh,
episodes of Agents
yeah.
of Shield. Um, he was in Bird Box. Apparently, I haven't watched that. He was in 7 episodes of Heroes Reborn. 13 episodes of The Mentalist. I watched a clip of him in The Mentalist when he got cast in this,
Okay.
and I mean he was really good in it. So all I can tell you, oh, you know what? I probably do know him from Walking Dead. He was in season 2 of Walking Dead as Otis. So that's probably
Oh, I
where
know that. Yeah.
that's probably
Okay.
where I'm from more. But I watched a clip of his. He was very good. Uh, not your traditional John Kent, but like I said, I think they're trying to go for more salt of the earth, uh, farmer, everyday American Kents, which I think is what they should be doing when it comes to the Kents. As much as I love like the John Snyders, the Oneto Tools,
Yeah.
you know, I do think that for this Superman, I'm curious to see what he's got cooking for us because they just got cast now. I can't see them having a lot of screen time while they got cast while filming is commencing, but um either way, they probably have a great 1 to 2 scenes in this movie that's going to really nail it, and I think that would mean both of these characters are alive at the time of the movie, which would be a different spin as well.
Yeah, I would love to not see the heart attack right away. That you know, let me get some John Kent.
You
I
don't have
will
to
say
see it at
this is
all,
yeah,
because
honestly,
like,
you don't.
in some comics, he is alive when he is Superman, so,
Hmm.
and for a long time, so I could see them going that route instead of the
Right.
well-trodden. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a departure from what we've had on screen though, because we had John Schneider in Smallville, and then we had Kevin Costner in Man of Steel, and it's a much different take on it. But I don't know what kind of like is he going to be the comedic relief? We don't know. I do have a question for you. Did you have a dream casting for Martha and Jonathan when this whole thing started? Because I know there was a lot of fan casting. I had two in mind, but I was wondering if you had like when we were doing the fan casting thing, like every day it was like a different fan cast. Did you have one?
No, I don't fan cast. I'm not good at it, and I don't like to get my hopes up on any sort of casting. I just like to see what they give me. You know, like I'll have favorites when like a list is narrowed down. Like when we were on here and we were talking
Uh huh.
about, we liked David Cornsweet, we liked Brosnahan, and we liked um I'm blanking on Luthor's name right now.
Nicholas Holt
Yes,
and
Nicholas Holt.
Skarsgård.
Yeah.
I was a big Alexander Skarsgård guy. I was rooting for him. I'm not gonna lie.
So like on those, I can kind of like once I people give me names, I'll be like yes or no. I can tell you yes or no.
Right.
You said Gyllenhaal as Batman. I said no. Right? Like I
Oh,
can't
I'm
do it.
still on that train. I know
Um,
Chris Evans, who we
but
had
I
on the
can't.
show, is on that train too.
But I also can't give
But
you a
yeah,
name either. It's one of those where
yeah,
it's like I know it when I see it. Like when they said Pattinson, I was like, yes, he'll do well. Um, and that's all I can really say. Like and sometimes I'm probably still wrong or right, depending on who it is. But I try not to get too bogged down into the fan casting, as probably as anti fun as that sounds. I'm not good at it, and I'm not steeped in like I don't like I know the main actors, right? But like
hmm
would I ever have picked Pruitt Taylor Vince? No, because I barely
you
knew
would
him.
never been on your radar. Yeah,
Right.
I had two just in my like when we were doing this original because I was like casting all the movies in my head before we even had the slate, like what I would do. And I had Tina Fey and Nick Offerman as my idea, kind of a comedic relief Kents.
Right.
But like I wasn't like dead set on it had to be one way or the other. As long as Clark learns the lessons he's supposed to learn from Martha and Jonathan, and that's like part of the mythos, I'm fine. I don't need this, and I don't think they're going to be that big a part of the movie either. I think it's going to be 6-10 minutes in, and let's say 2 hour and 20 minute movie.
Yeah, yeah. They'll have, I think, like 2 scenes, and that'll be probably like 6 to 10 minutes of screen time. And
So what they
there's
usually do with
your
John,
Kent.
yeah, what they usually do with Jonathan is they usually have him have that like motivational speech as like almost a voiceover. They did it with the Man of Steel and Zack Snyder's Justice Leagues. I mean, that's kind of, I they did it a bit in Smallville where he thinks of his father. You know, Uh, that's kind of something I could see as part of it. But you know, they're the Kents. They're Kansas farmers.
Yeah.
Very Americana slice of the earth. I like what you're thinking there.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how they do, and how much they're in the movie, and just excited to get more stuff about the movie. Um, James Gunn has actually already started production on Peacemaker season 2. He was directing it on an off day from Superman about a week
I
ago.
don't know. I don't know what you do on your off days, but I don't do a completely different job. That's
Yeah,
pretty
I mean,
awesome.
some people do. Some
More
people,
power to them.
like their off day, they'll pick up the Uber, or they'll be the
Yeah,
Instacarter for the day
it's
or
a little
something.
more than Ubering, and that's
Yeah,
like
but this
it's a little
was,
more involved.
yeah. So I'm assuming it was for. Uh, I mean, I don't really know. Like, it's interesting. Like, it was a picture on the back of the head of Peacemaker's helmet. This
Mhm.
might not actually be Cena, because Cena may have been busy. I don't know. They originally said filming starts in June, so this could have been like some sort of other work he was doing with like shooting from the back, or maybe doing
They,
like the new intro for season 2 or
that's what I was
something.
just about to
Like,
say.
we don't know.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's going to be the intro. I mean, it's got to be different than it was last year. So
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So uh, the hardest working man in Hollywood right now is James Gunn. So that is he's. It seems like he likes it though. He's living his best life, directing all of this
yes,
stuff. It's great.
so is David Zaslav getting more money when he cuts everything under the sun. So that's also interesting. I mean,
The perks of being a
Warner
CEO: you
Brothers.
get to get 50 million a year.
Yeah, the life is hard speech. Oh, we're starving for content. We're doing tax write offs. By the way, did you see I got a raise? It drives me nuts. It drives the
Yeah, it's
corporate
like,
stuff
hey,
just drives me
Zaslav,
nuts.
I think we can take a tax write off on that raise there. We'll keep it
Yeah,
over here.
all I'm gonna say is you better give James Gunn time if you're going to help yourself to seconds at the buffet at the money buffet. Oh God, it drives me nuts.
We got some fun stuff from Grant Gustin, Flash. Uh, he was asked about the DCU, and he said, it's so funny, that first video that came out of me, I didn't even know I was being filmed. I was at one of those conventions, and someone asked me if I ever would do it. I've always told people it's not up to me. And I think the person asked me, like, if James Gunn wanted you to. And I was like, yeah, if he wanted me to. I trust him. I love all the movies he's put out. I'm a fan. And then, yeah, I guess he caught wind of that and said something nice. Um, then the report from the Wrap.com says Grant and Gunn have never properly met, but they did chat in the DMs. Um, he said, but it was even before that question was being asked. He said that we've never talked about Flash. We talked like, I'm a huge Superman fan. That's what Grant Gustin's saying. I've always been a
Yep.
Superman fan since I was a kid. So I was really just excited for the movie, and I'm just excited about David's casting. So, just pretty much talking about to James Gunn about the movie. Probably just some nice pleasantries back and forth there. Um,
I actually love it that the Flash
there you go.
is so into Superman, and then Tyler Hoechlin grew up a huge Batman fan. I think that's awesome. Tyler Heckley wanted to be Batman,
Well,
and Grant wanted to be
oh yeah.
Superman. So that's the funny thing.
Well, it seems very par for the course uh for Flash to be a huge Superman fan. So I think
Oh,
that
absolutely, yeah,
that's pretty cool. Real
yeah, that's
quick,
pretty
just some
fun.
rumors. Real rumors going around right now. Daniel RPK says Waller and Green Lantern have their scripts completed. And of course, he means Lanterns, the show. We still don't know if that's
The
actually true or not. I assume there's a lot of
the
background movement on this stuff that we're not privy to, and maybe during Comic-Con we'll find more out.
I don't know about the Lanterns one. I think the Lanterns one, I haven't seen anything moving on that whatsoever. The Waller one makes sense because it's connected to Peacemaker. Viola Davis is still attached. That James Gunn's been talking about that before the DCU even like he wanted to do that. So I mean that one makes sense. The Lanterns one, give me any detail and I'll believe it. Like I'll believe it when I see one detail.
From what I've heard, from I forget where it was, insiders or a scooper. I think it was back when it was the DCU leaks account that was the mods over there that they were getting pretty good intel. They were one of the first ones to I believe know some of the stuff that's come to fruition. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think they were saying that they do have a showrunner and writer for Lanterns. I think that might be what Tom King and Damon Lindelof are working on. So if
Ooh.
that's the case, then that's a pretty solid team. They both worked on, I believe, Watch. I think Tom King worked on Watchmen with Lindelof, but if not, Lindelof worked on the show Watchmen. Of course, he created Lost. Um, so uh, yeah, so it seems like maybe that if that's true, I can see them having the scripts ready. It's probably like 6 to 10 scripts, right? I mean, it's not a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's not like a full movie, and it's TV. So I actually really like Tom King, so I'm down with that. I know some people don't like Tom King, but he kind of is my style. I like it a lot. I actually haven't read one thing of his that I don't like. I understand though why some of it's divisive. I get that part.
And then Production Weekly says Booster Gold's supposed to get production going in summer. I can't see that actually happening. We'll see. We'll see on that. But yeah, things are moving, and I'm sure Gunn will have some stuff to present to us later in the year. But we do know that Creature Commandos is where this all begins later this year. Also later this year, we can assume My Adventures with Superman season 2. It's been almost a year since the last season of the show. I believe that kicked off in the summer, June or July last year. Adult Swim put out a little tweet with a short, like, mini trailer. It wasn't long, maybe like a clip. But it's just
Hmm.
good to know season 2 is on its way, and I would assume probably around the same time as it was last year.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm hoping it's like after Deadpool and Wolverine, when all of a sudden it's like the anticipation that that big thing is gone, and he needs something to fill the void. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, because the summer is my least favorite time of the year. Give me anything I can chew on in that time of the year, but I'll tell you that show was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that season one, and that little teaser was enough to get me going. I was like, okay, let's do this thing.
Yeah, can't wait. Also coming later this year, the rumor is they're holding off till fall. Superman and Lois, season 4, the final season, which is wrapped filming. And the third season is finally getting released on DVD and Blu ray in June. So I'll be picking that up. Just very excited to get season 3 in my hands, rewatch it before season 4 launches. And the plan is discussing that weekly on here, but I say the plan because by the time it releases now, I'm going to have a child, so we'll see how realistic it is. But the plan
Yeah.
is every week after the episode launches to do our recaps a little earlier than we did last time.
And who knows? We might have a special guest. You might need a little pacifier, but we might get a special guest on the show.
No, I don't think
So
Ron's
you
going to
never
be on.
know.
Oh, you meant my kid. Sorry.
I was hoping you would do that. I was like, if I set this up, is he gonna go there? I was like, yes. All right.
Sorry, Ron. Just a joke. Just a joke.
I do love how like we always mention Ron and like you guys always mention me. It's like it's hilarious.
Can't escape us. But that's most of the big news that we've been having. You know, of course, Superman Day came and went without a suit reveal, which I'm fine with. Totally fine with it. I think people have made this stuff up in their minds on what we're getting, on what we talked about it last episode, that I said people thought on the 18th we were getting something. I was prepared to do an emergency episode that day just in case, but it came and went. Nothing except for the picture of them reading the comics, which is a fun thing. We don't need
That was cool. That was
anything
cool.
more than that. He just gave us the emblem reveal on the other Superman Day. Like, how many of these days are we celebrating of Superman in a year? His first appearance is what this one was. What was the one earlier? It was like the what was that one? The one that they released the emblem. It was another special day for
It was
Superman.
a table read. Oh, that was this birthday technically, the leap year.
Yeah, the birthday from a comic issue in like the 60s. Yeah. So they celebrated that with the emblem. If he didn't do it then, he would have done it that day, I think. But then, you know, you get another day where people are like, the 18th? Oh, he said the movie's 18% done. That means April 18th, we are getting the suit reveal. People making leaps and jumps more than Superman can. And
When
they
did the
were
Scoopers start
totally
sounding
wrong.
like Swifties? The Scoopers sounded
It
like
wasn't even
Swifties. It's like
Scoopers. It was like your Superman fan 78 Twitter account, you know, like that are
did you
just
see she had 3 fries and she had 10 people in the box and that equals 13 and that's her favorite number? And this is what we sound like as Superman fans right now, guys. Calm down.
yeah. Because then you can just pick out another thing. This is the day Superman 1, you know, premiered, right? And then you'd have to release something in honor of that. And then, this is the day that the New 52 started. What are you going to show us, James, on the day that the New 52 started? Like, it gets ridiculous at a certain point.
Actually, we do have a milestone day coming up from The Flash. April 25th, 2024, the day Barry was supposed to disappear.
Oh, is that the one? Because that's changed a couple of times.
Well, it's changed a couple times, but it was, I believe that's the original day he was supposed to disappear.
Yeah, because I thought that already came and passed. Maybe not. Maybe that was a different one.
No, what you're thinking of was the day that he went to the future and saw Savitar.
Yeah, that one. But I thought there was also another one. Like I feel like I just saw the Flash Missing in Crisis. Let me check. Let me check the headline here because I have that.
Okay,
I feel
Barry,
like
what did you do?
because I feel like I've seen that, like people sharing that headline again recently. Okay, no, that is April 25th, 2024. All right, you know what that means. I got to make sure that I post a tweet in regards to that.
Yeah,
In
come
2
up with
days.
something creative.
I'll try.
Yeah, put you on the spot there.
This episode probably releases that day, by the way. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to release this episode on the 25th. So at this point, Flash
You
is
should tell it,
missing.
where's Barry?
Yeah. Yeah, that
Where's
wouldn't work for
Barry?
the search engine optimization, the SEO there, because we're mostly talking Superman, so that would really not help our
Fair
algorithm.
enough.
Yeah, okay. That's most of that stuff. Did you wanna talk at all about the the Snyder stuff that keeps
Oh,
popping up
it's
throughout
just
the
ridiculous. This guy who wants to make 6 Rebel Moons, who didn't get an actual cut that he wanted to get of his movie once again somehow happens every studio is that just cannot stop talking. And then after telling us that, oh, when you tell me Batman can't kill, that's what I want to do. I'm gonna disrespect that. And then all of a sudden he's like, hey, I'm excited about James Gunn's movie if he honors the mythology correctly. Oh, come on. Like just like both sides of his mouth are going like a mile a minute. And it's just honestly, Zack Snyder talking is the opposite effect of his movies. I find I gain more appreciation for his movies with more viewing. With him talking, I gain less appreciation for him the more he talks. He's getting to the point where everything he says gets taken into a headline or a soundbite and it becomes an article and taken out of context. And they do that with everybody. But with him, it's like he's trying to get those. It's like he's actually trying to do their job for them. It drives me nuts. Some of the things he said in the last 2 weeks are just like, oh, if you don't like me, that's fine, but that's a win for AI in the focus groups. What? What world are you living on?
Mhm.
If you don't like Batman versus Superman, AI. Apparently, that was an artificially intelligent thought put into your brain by focus groups. Like, you're getting into crazy town, Zach. Sorry, that was my
Yeah,
rant of the day.
I'm sure. Look, I'm sure some of he gets asked this all the time. I wish people would stop asking. I'm like, hey, would you do an animated film? He's like, yeah, why not? What? Yeah, let's complete his anime film. Why not? Because he's getting asked it, right? Just stop asking the guy. He's moved on after the failure of Rebel Moon. There ain't no way Netflix is going to be like, oh, we gotta buy the Snyder cut, and we're going to make parts 2 and 3. They're not gonna do it. Can we stop asking for it? Let him do a comic adaptation if he really cares about it. He'll do it that way or something. But it, we got to move on. We got a new DCU coming in. Even if that fails, I'm not ever going back to try to reboot the Snyder stuff. It didn't work. When you look at how well BVS started and then the legs on that movie just dying because the movie
Mhm.
wasn't great. And then people say, well, they should have put the ultimate cut in theaters. I saw the ultimate cut on DVD. Guess what? Not that different. Same exact
Actually,
movie.
I would argue that
Same
it's a
exact.
better movie. I would argue that it's a better
It's
movie
not.
and it has
It's
more context. I didn't say
barely
it was
any
a
more
masterpiece.
context.
It doesn't make it a
No, but
masterpiece, but
there's people out there, Chris, that say that if that movie was released, it would have been a hit. No, it's the same exact plot, same
actually, it would have
exact
been less
message, same
popular
exact.
because it would have been longer.
Right,
I'm agreeing with you that it wouldn't have made a difference to the
right,
general audience. But if you like
yeah.
honestly watch the ultimate cut, it is a better movie because they piece together this stuff in the beginning much better.
Hmm. I don't know. I've watched both, and while I walked out of BVS in 2016, I was like, yeah, that was all right. I didn't hate it the way people do. Um, None of that changed my opinion when I watched the ultimate cut. I was like, that's still like just all right. Like it's not like it didn't change my opinion of the movie whatsoever.
I wanted Zack
Same thing
Snyder's
with
Justice
the
League too. I wanted it, but I gave up on it when I got the promise of something else. I was excited when Henry Cavill came back from mid-credit scene in Black Adam.
same. People
I
can go
was
back and listen to my episode about it.
yeah, I was excited. But when I got the promise of a new universe, a fresh start, James Gunn, I said, okay, I'm not holding on hope for something I'm not going to get. I'm going to enjoy what we're getting. And there is a faction of the fandom that is trying to tear James Gunn and the DCU down because they didn't get what they wanted. Because they're trying to take their ball and go home. They haven't had the ball for so long. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand this. It drives me up a wall. And he just needs to shut up. People are saying James Gunn needs to shut up. No, he actually has the ball. He can say whatever he wants. Zack
Mm-hmm.
Snyder, just shut up. Talk about Rebel Moon all you want. That's your property. Do what you want to do with it. But what was the movie he said he wanted? Was it
Sucker
Sucker
Punch.
Punch? Yeah, he wanted to make
Yeah.
his a Snyder cut of Sucker Punch, and I was just like,
It's already
you
filmed.
cannot.
It's already filmed, he said. That's what he said about Justice League, and then he had to film another $70 million worth.
And it was 4 hours long all of a sudden. Which is actually Zack Snyder's Justice
Too
League is a
long.
masterpiece. So I'll give it to him. It's a masterpiece. It's one of my favorite superhero movies. But
Not even in my
Sucker
top 20.
Punch. I don't get that. I don't get that. But I just don't understand why everything he does is not the finished product. Everything he does, it's not what I really wanted to give you. It gets old. It gets
Yeah.
old. You did it once. Like I supported you with the Snyder Cut. Okay, I supported that movement because I was like, yeah, I'm all about artistic vision and all that stuff and creators. Sure, do your thing. And the second he got it, I was very happy for him and I enjoyed it and I celebrated the Snyder Cut. And I was rooting for Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2. And I was mad when they said it was a cul-de-sac that would lead to nothing, and I was frustrated with it. And then I moved on when I got the promise of something new that didn't have any baggage. And now they're attacking something like the world's finest comic that I sent you a screenshot of with Deep
Yeah.
Darkseid. You read it too. If the boom tube and Batman goes, oh no, we're too late. And I would just, the second I read that bubble, I was like, if this doesn't scratch the itch for Snyder fans, they never cared about the character. So I tweeted out, I was like, if you're a Zack Snyder Justice League fan, you really should read this comic because, it really scratches a very similar itch for me. And like, if you're into the characters, you should read it. And, I don't think they care. That's why if they continued it in comic book form, I don't think it would be successful.
I think it could be. Well, it doesn't have to be, right? Like, I mean, it could be like
You're
a
fair.
6-issue limited run, and like nobody would care. But
Oh,
like,
I'd enjoy it.
if it's actually written by him, I think some of those would go read it, and that might be the first time they open up a comic book, and that could be
That
good.
would be a good experience.
I
Yeah.
don't mean that as a slight. Like, I'm sure some of these fans who say Snyder is the blueprint and everything probably have only seen those movies and think that he is the blueprint of everything. But it would be good if they could maybe get into the medium that way. If he's like, you know what, I really do want to finish that story. Let me do a 6-issue arc that is just about the nightmare sequence. Catching up and closing that out and stuff like that. I would probably go read it just to be like, oh, I want to see I want to see him
Mm-hmm.
wrap this up. Same way I watched Zack Snyder's Justice League, not because I'm a Snyder fan, but because I was a fan of the characters, and it was a new version of a movie, and I was like, oh yeah, let me. I haven't seen a live action Justice League since 2017, so I might as well watch this and let people know I'm interested in watching Justice League content. But
And doesn't he
to me, that
sketch
movie
like the
was overly
panels
long.
anyway? Doesn't he like sketch the panels for like his storyboards anyway? Like I'm pretty sure he
I
has
don't
some
know, but I
artistic talent.
I would
I think I
assume
heard that somewhere.
I would assume if so, he could probably do both ends of it. But I wouldn't. I would even
I
assume
mean,
that if
I'm
he
not
just
putting
writes
that
it and
on
has
him,
like
but
a
yeah.
guy that also like if he is partnered with somebody that maybe understands his vision or he's worked with before that can do the art, then I think that would be really cool. But main thing I'm going to ask for people is stop asking Snyder about this. It's not happening. It's not happening as long as Gunn is in charge, and I would say it's probably not happening at all. Like his movies get less and less return on investment at every step of the way. Why would anybody be like, "Oh yeah, we're going to try to." He's already got rejected by the casuals in the box office
Hmm.
when it comes to DC. So that's gone, and that's the whole reason why they had to pivot. The sole reason they pivoted is because they were like, we're losing the game to Marvel because Snyder's vision isn't what the people want to see. Are there some people that want to see it? Yes, but it's a very small minority that really latched onto that version of the character.
Like I like Ben Affleck as Batman a lot. But let's not act like that was a revolutionary casting way that maybe a Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man was. Like people were never 100% on board with that. And I think one of the things you have to remember is that with Zack Snyder's Justice League, like it was supposed to be a finite thing anyway. I always say it was a 5 movie arc. Like we got 3 of those movies and then everything hit the fan. And then you had 3 regimes. The number one thing you got to remember is Zack Snyder isn't even the person you need to ask. The man has zero control over doing this.
Right.
If Zack Snyder, with every fiber of his body, wanted to, he would have to beg a line of people just to do it. Like, and I don't know if you're paying attention, but he keeps getting work. It's not like as much as I'm criticizing Snyder, he knows what he's doing and he does quality movies. I mean, visually, I think he's one of the best directors. I don't know about storytelling, but visually, you can't argue the guy knows how to make a shot look good. I will still argue to this day that the Flash turning back time in Zack Snyder's Justice League and the scene with Cyborg connecting the mother boxes, that might have been the best scene in a superhero movie for me. So, like, I respect
Really?
him. Yeah, I think it's that good.
See, I don't
That
think there's
moves.
anything special about that scene at all.
Oh, it hits me in the feels every single time.
Hmm. Yeah, no,
It hits me in
I
the
see
feels
people
every
quote
single
that scene
time.
all the time, and I just never got the hype for it.
And that's fine. It's subjective. Um, one of the best of the best, and it's just, to me, it was one of my definitive Flash moments, and it's the only movie Flash moment that holds anything of a candle to anything that Grant Gustin did. So yeah, I love that moment so much, and there are moments from Zack Snyder's Justice League that I think about all the time. I love that movie. I absolutely adore that movie.
Yeah, well, that's what you get with this podcast. You get somebody that really liked that movie. You get somebody that thought that movie was just fine, and
And the
that's
guy
me.
who really liked that movie wants Zack Snyder to shut up, so it is balanced.
Yes, I haven't. To be honest, I really haven't thought of Snyder's Justice League much. You know what scene sticks out in my head all the time, and it's for the wrong reason. Is the Joker being like, "Let me give you a reach around,"
Oh
or
god,
whatever.
I just turn it off before the epilogue. That is the part that annoys me because that wasn't part of his vision. Be like, oh, this is what I was gonna do. He's like, or this is already done. No, he's like, I'm gonna go the extra mile and stick the
To
knife
film
up
that.
Warner Brothers. Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna stick the knife up Warner Brothers by doing that. That's to me, and he goes, I'm gonna make a zero compromise movie, which I'm like, yeah, totally. But you also didn't do exactly what you said you were doing, and that's the part that annoys me. I and then you cut that out, and then it's under 4 hours, and then we've had 3 hour
Yeah,
plus movies. 4 hours is a little righteous. I'm not gonna lie. I think the other scene that I think about a lot of that movie is the mother box at Themyscira, and that was probably one of the coolest scenes I've
the
ever seen
opening
in a
scene,
superhero movie. Yeah,
like the flashback part, where that is the best scene of the movie. But for me, because it shows like just seeing like another lantern on like I'm pretty sure you see one of the lanterns out there fighting. You
Hmm.
see just all these like older different superheroes fighting, trying to protect Earth at that point. But
Well, not even that, but like the Themyscira when Steppenwolf comes down and they close the temple in on him, and
yeah,
he jumps out of it. Like, dude, that is some of the most beautiful thing, like beautiful action I've ever seen in a movie. Like, it is badass. Like, it is scary. It is good. And Steppenwolf in Zack Snyder's Justice League actually looks intimidating, and like there's heart to the character for some reason. And like, I'll give him that. Like that, those are great freaking moments. I love that. I also I kind of like the Aquaman part where they're singing to him as he's going into the water. I know a lot of people didn't like that part, but the reason I liked that was because it's like, oh, you see what he is to these people. You see the good in him when he's all this scruffy and like assholey and like I'm Aquaman, or leave me alone. Even at that point in his story, you saw kind of under that, and I thought that was cool. There's a lot of it I think about. I think about Wonder Woman in the bank scene and how much better it is than the Joss Whedon version, and how on earth you would edit that down to what they edited it to. Crime, absolute crime. It's and saying to the girl she can be anything she wants to be when she grows up. That dude, that's cool. She's like, "Can I be you? Like, you can be anything you want to be." That's cool. That was a cool scene. So yeah, I think about Zack Snyder's Justice League a lot. I still think Zack Snyder should shut up, but yeah.
and just for anybody that wants to say that I am wrong that the general public has dismissed his vision, he has on Rotten Tomatoes 5 movies that he's directed that have certified fresh or just fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. His movies that are rotten, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 movies
Is
rotten.
that counting Zack's? Is that counting the original Justice League, the theatrical?
Yeah, he's listed as
Okay,
director.
so I'm still counting that as six then.
But yeah,
But
so I
your
mean
point
his
is about the
his
same.
his Rebel Moon movies are the lowest he's ever gotten, it looks like. So Netflix is probably looking to pull the plug on that relationship. Is my main point there. So
Well, yeah, they canceled things after 3 seasons or 2 movies.
yeah.
That's basically what they do. I,
So thank
but
God Lucasfilm didn't take him up on that. Okay. I
yep,
think that's enough for today. Look, and I'll
yeah,
make this promise to the listeners here. That's the last we are going to talk about Zack Snyder being asked questions
okay.
about this stuff, unless the unthinkable happens and he actually gets in control of DC again. But
Oh
if he
God,
is just if they're still asking this question 10 years from now and he is like
I will be Jordan.
15 years removed from the Snyder cut, then I'm not talking about it on here anymore. This
Okay,
is it.
fair
Like
enough.
we're turning the page too, and that's what we're doing as we're getting ready for the next. So even if he comes out and says something very stupid or very wise next week, we're not talking about it.
All right,
I get no enjoyment
let's
out of it.
that's our way of saying this was a slow news week,
Yeah,
and the news we had we didn't have much to say on, but we needed to get you a show, and we enjoy doing these shows too. It's fun to talk.
yeah. Well, that's pretty much it. I think next time we're going to be talking, unless if some big news happens, are we talking World's Finest?
Yeah, I think we could also do a Smallville season 5
Yeah, we have to
at
do
some
that.
point.
Yeah, it's
And
just
I got to get
been
back on back
very
on the
busy.
Smallville watching too. I've been so busy. I'm still in the middle of season 6.
Yeah. So next time, did you want to talk all 26 World's Finest, or was there a certain arc you wanted to focus on our conversation?
That's a good question. I really liked the beginning and the ends of that run. So maybe we just do the beginning of it and then the end of it, and then we kind of whatever, like your favorite parts or whatever. I don't know. We'll do it
Okay.
however we want to do it. But definitely want to talk about the Return to Kingdom Come part. I know Anthony, digging for Kryptonite, did a really good episode on it.
We had him on,
And
yeah.
I really liked what he said about that stuff. So I don't want to focus too much solely on Return to Kingdom Come, but that was a great arc. And I really liked what was the demon's name? Netsu.
Yeah.
That arc was great. Yeah, that arc was fantastic. So yeah, and there's so much to talk about. The art of it is fantastic. So I'll try to come up with some favorite panels too.
All right, cool. So that's what we'll talk about next time. These episodes drop every other week, so that'll be um, in 2 weeks that you can look forward to us talking that. That gives you time to read 26 issues of World's Finest if you haven't yet. And if you haven't yet, I recommend it because it is the best DC current book going on. And
Agree.
this creative team is going to be doing the summer event Absolute Power, which we're going to be hopefully talking about on here as well.
Oh, we will be. I'm gonna be. I'm teed up for it. I'm ready to go.
All right, so you can reach us at elseworldsdcfan on all of our social medias, or email us elseworldsdcfan@gmail.com for more long form thoughts. You can like and subscribe to us here on the YouTube channel, or rate and review us on Apple Podcast and Spotify. You can also comment in the YouTube video. Let people know your thoughts on our positions. Are you anti or pro Snyder cut? Do you want to see it continued? Are you ready for the DCU? Are you ready for a fresh page like I am? Let us know in the comments, or send us, like I said, to those social medias. And yeah, that's it. Thank you all for watching and listening along. We'll catch you next time when we talk World's Finest.